One good day and then welcome to our local breakthrough podcast. I'm Christiana Pakulanga, a local content and procurement specialist. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be present in our first local procure podcast of this year. First of all, before we start, I would like to say Happy Women's Day because we are in May, month of March, and then I would like also to take opportunity to say Happy Father's Day because we are also on March. Yes, the past months ago, Mozambique has experienced a period of manifestation, and then it created impact in our economy and our industrialization. But as we move forward, it is crucial to discuss solution. To kick off this new season, we have a very special person, one of the most influenced voice in African energy sector. He is the executive chairman of the African Energy Chamber, and he is a renewable lawyer and best-selling author. Today we'll discuss a crucial topic, the future of energy in Mozambique and opportunity for local business. To help us navigate to this question, I'm honored to welcome NG Ayak. He is the executive chairman of the African Energy Chamber. And welcome, NG Ayak, to our local Procure podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's indeed an honor to be here.
Exactly. Yes, Inchi, before we dive in our discussion, I would like to ask Inchi if you can share a bit about your journey in the energy sector.
Oh, I hate talking about myself, but I tell you this: I love energy. I love the energy sector. I think it's one of the most intriguing sectors you would find in anybody's career. I started in energy as a lawyer, working and representing oil and gas companies and service companies, but also advising governments and other public institutions across Africa, the Middle East, the U.S., and even in Australia. So I've seen the sector from various phases, from private sector, from public sector, and also I've been able to grow within this energy sector. So I, having spent time walking across the continent and also training, developing a lot of young people, I do believe that that is my journey in energy has been very transformative and also has been a very, very big school for myself, and also that has espoused my views on how or what energy should look like for Africa. So I am very thankful that I have lived a long life to be able to see what I've been able to see in the energy sector.
Okay, thank you a lot. It's a very, very influential person. First of all, I would like to say thank you because I know your work. I know what are you doing. It's something very important that you are doing, and then keep moving. Well, Mozambique is home of the largest gas discoveries in the recent history. And the energy sector has been a potential transformation in our economy. From your perspective, I would like to know how can Mozambique maximize the benefit of the natural gas and the renewable energy resource?
Mozambique is blessed with a lot of renewable energy,
Yes.
and you are going to use renewables to increase energy capacity in the country, because you're still seeing a lot of energy poverty in Mozambique. So you must not discount everything. What Mozambique must start looking at. I'm not an expert in Mozambique, but also you have to really embrace. 50% of Mozambicans don't have electricity. That's a number that we must not accept. I was with President Chisano last week in Namibia for a funeral, and we had these discussions. But here's the big thing. You need to use all of the above energy sources: oil, natural gas, coal, renewables, to get your people out of energy poverty. Because when it comes to renewables, the sun wouldn't shine forever, the wind wouldn't blow forever. You might need to use the abundant natural gas that you have in Mozambique, and sometimes you might have to use onshore gas and not just offshore gas. But yes, but now let's look at how natural gas and its role to really empower Mozambicans. Beyond the jobs, you're gonna get a lot of jobs that come out of natural gas, not just working for natural gas companies or service companies, but also multiplier jobs that improves that. You're gonna get a lot of contracts, so businesses, small businesses, will be able to procure and then work around gas things. But you're gonna have to build a gas industries. So those gas industries are going to be the industries of the future. Urea, ammonia, NPK, fertilizer plants. So with that, you are able to boost Mozambican agriculture basis and really feed our own people, because Mozambique don't have to be begging for wheat from a country at war like Ukraine. We can feed our own people. US is cutting aid. So a farmer in Iowa is not going to be sending you food anymore. We could use that fertilizer to drive that up, and guess what? That happens. You see, this is how gas is kind of like a Swiss knife. It has so much uses. So you got young people that are feeling with despair and they don't have opportunity. Then they can start getting jobs. They can start building small businesses. Then you breed hope. And that is what gas is. I call it hope gas. This is gas of hope, what Mozambique has. And that is going to shape the future. So the natural gas industry is going to be huge for Mozambique, but you got to make it work. And how do you make it work? And that's what we must focus on. Government action is going to be important. The fiscals have to be important. Guarding against resource nationalism has to be a pure focus, not demonizing oil and gas companies. We look at how you approve projects. There's so much projects sitting in the hands of governments that is not being approved. They need to approve those projects. Coral North needs to be approved. The field development needs to be approved. They need to move fast with it. And you got to always guard against your fiscals, so that these fiscal terms that you have is going to really be able to encourage this growth and encourage more investments, because we need more investors, and we need to also do it above ground rates. Natural gas works where it is welcome, just like capital. So Mozambique's on the right path, but we need to be guardians of that industry and drive it forward to make it work.
Exactly. Well, because as you know, because here in Mozambique, we have Mozambican people that it's difficult for them to find a job to be in those industrialization, the oil and gas sector, even the community to, because we have local content and social responsibility, and then most of the community they not be will not consider helping, but they are not benefit in 100%, or most of them, or a part of the community a benefit, having a benefit, but not at all. And then I would like to know, in this case, relating the business of the Mozambican company, first of all, what strategy should the local company, the Mozambican, can adopt to position themselves as competitive supplier in this sector?
It's better to be ready and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be ready. Mozambican companies have to be ready to seize the opportunities that the natural gas sector is going to bring. So first of all, get yourself prepared, get your documents ready, put your corporate governance in full check and practice, and make sure that everything is fine. Then you drive things up. Then you move things up by making sure you have the right kind of equipment, and then you engage in business development with the companies, get into the supplier projects, supplier database and the procurement database, and drive that. The oil industry, the gas industry, you have to be very careful on about how it's going to benefit. The companies are there, they're putting in really big amounts of money to make sure that this works, but you cannot expect that the companies are going to do everything for us. We have to do a lot more for ourselves, and that's where this thing comes. So I think it's very, very important that we participate in that, and we also encourage that. And I think small businesses need to get their ducks together and be ready and engage the companies.
Oh, okay. And then, as to learn, we need to learn from the other African markets. And then we have in Nigeria, we have Angola as well. And in this case, to having this extension of experience here in Mozambique, which kind of what lesson can Mozambique can learn from the other markets? We are talking about, for example, Nigeria, Angola, that they have a bit of local content policies that are working. But in this case, which recommendation? Which kind of experience we can learn from the other markets here in Mozambique?
We have to look at it and say there has to be some context in the content, and local content laws, policies, programs are not going to be the solution to all our problems. It's like I always say, Superman is not going to fix this. Batman is not going to fix this. Wakanda Forever is a good movie, but the Black Panther is not coming to wave a magic wand and then everything works. We're going to have to do a lot ourselves. Angola did very well in having what you call a pragmatic local content, that you let the companies work, because sometimes we don't have the technologies that are needed. Sometimes we don't have the highly skills that are needed, but also they created an opportunity where there could be partnerships and people to do that. Same with Nigeria. That's why today you have some Nigerians actually owning, operating oil fields. So it's going to come, but it takes time because it's a capital intensive industry and all of that. We have to be active students in looking what has worked and what has not worked. What will not work, I know, is a radical approach that keeps investment or increases the cost of the project up. That just wouldn't work. That delays the project. That just wouldn't work. We have to really look at local content for a chance that it's an opportunity for us to compete. It's an opportunity for us to get a seat at the table. But when we get that seat at the table, we got to deliver. We got to really prepare, be ourselves, and really ensure that these companies know that we become reliable, dependable partners that would help them complete these projects. If we do that, I think that is going to work. So yes, we can look at Nigeria, what they've done, but don't forget they've been producing for 50 to 60 years, big legacy in oil and gas production. Angola has also had a big legacy in oil and gas production. So we should not expect to be like Nigeria or Angola in a day, but we can certainly get there, and we can actually not just overcome, but we can overwhelm by really saying we have what we call is a Mozambican content, what is uniquely Mozambican, to be able to drive that. And with so many young people in that country, so many young entrepreneurs, there is no chance that Mozambicans can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, set up and do something big with this industry. I believe that it can happen. I believe in that country, and they can really get this thing done.
Okay. Yes. Yes. It's we can use those kind of experience for the other country as well, and for the community here in Mozambique, related the community for the benefits of the community. Which kind of policy that the Mozambican can be implemented so that the investment be translated for benefit of the community here in Mozambique?
I mean, there's a few things you can do. I mean, I'm not the best person to give lectures to a government. I mean, heck, who wants to listen to a poor country boy like me? But I tell you something. We want to see revenue management. So you put policies that give a transparent and open revenue management system that is going to, with what government adds, publish what you pay, and also publish what you receive, and get citizens to be part of that system where there is accountability. Because at the end of the day, people want to see accountability. The second part of things that really that is, or that you have to always look at, is that we need to think different about this industry. It's not just money coming into government and then politicians spending, but also we got to pay attention to those communities that this gas or oil or whatever we do is being operated on. So we need to look at maybe creating community trusts, and those community trusts can invest in infrastructure, healthcare, education. So those communities now start feeling the benefit of the resources coming out of there, and it reduces young people feeling desperate and then start to listen to somebody with some strange ideas around violence and terrorism that come to affect us all. So it's time to think big and think different, but also to move together, because you can't move alone, and policy will have to move that. So proactive engagement by policymakers, listening to the industry, because you know what? Some of the industry players have had so much experience working in different countries. They've seen what works, they've seen what doesn't work. They're not there to lecture you, but in that close collaboration, holding each side accountable and collaborating, it then opens the door for something really unique and something really special to happen. When business works together with government, and we look at those issues from critical stages, looking at data, looking at research, and what has been able to transform communities in different places around the world, it can really be very helpful. And so you make the energy companies your partner in progress, and not your adversaries, and also bring civil society in, because civil society does play a very important role in warning us and also guiding us where we're going wrong. Yes, there's some civil society I don't want to see, like those ones that come protest in my office, but even a broken clock is right twice a day. So I still welcome them to the table, because they might just have some ideas or some points that maybe they either need to be educated, or sometimes they would be constructive and active participants as we drive this forward. So it's an important opportunity for us to listen to multiple voices as we strive towards making this a better, fairer, more inclusive energy industry, and especially with natural gas that has so much to do with the communities that live in. You can't do this alone. You need to bring everybody to the table.
Yes, I do understand, because really, as Mozambican, we need to think more, and then we need to think more out of the box, because as we are Mozambican, so main thing that we can do to help, as well, not only the investor, but as well the government. And then Inchi, for the final, maybe I can consider the final, because we cannot push a lot, because we know that it's difficult to have a time with NG. Finally, we are looking ahead to for the strategy that we can implement as Mozambican company for position in the long-term success in the energy sector. How can we our position? What can be the position of Mozambican company in general to for long-term success?
I think you start by doing something different. You know what? Focus on women. Okay, let's start with that. You get the number of women in the industry, and long term it's low. So that's how you start to measure that you're a different industry, and you start to measure that you are doing something different. Just have a very serious set aside programs where you actually grow women entrepreneurs. You know why? When you grow women entrepreneurs in energy, you're growing families. You're growing primary people that are going to ensure that families are structured. Mozambican women are still the last hired and the first fired in the gas industry. That's wrong. We need to fix that, and we need to turn that around and make it look different. Women are still giving less access to contracts and opportunities. We got to look at issues that we don't want to talk about in Africa or Mozambique, how we view women in our sector, sexual harassment rules. Sometimes some of the comments we make or say sometimes around that has deferred women from coming in the industry. That is so those kind of things really speak to the core of our industry. So we got to get back to the core. Now, if you want to look at different for some of the stuff that you have to do. There's so stream. Let's try to see how you build a domestic gas market that is going to do. What about looking at giving Mozambican companies access to gas fields and onshore gas fields and making them to work together or bring international parties so that they can become operators. So the Mozambican guys can do the big thing and the Mozambican girls can also do the big thing, because you go around Mozambique, you meet people who say you want to bamba, you want to chill with the big boys. I think the Mozambicans can do that and do it very well. So we need to think big, we need to think different, but we need to also get government to meet those entrepreneurs in Mozambique and the international companies halfway so that this can be done. You got to get policies, because at the end of the day, we deal with our above ground risk issues, encourage these guys so that financing, business can come. One thing you need to understand about this industry is that you're not competing for financing between Mozambique and South Africa or Mozambique and Zimbabwe. You're competing with Nigeria for that money to come in. You're competing with Guyana. You're competing with Suriname. So your fiscals, your policies, your above ground, you got to be really attractive for them to be able to put in that money and do that investment, but also at the same time get Mozambicans to be drivers of that, because at the end of the day, they only have one country in Mozambique, and they have to be those that are going to develop. It's time to think big. It's time to think.
So I think that we had a network issue.
Not a problem. We can do it again anytime if you have better network, but I'm ready. Feel free to edit and work on it. But I think it's a great conversation, and I really thank you for giving me a chance to talk about your beautiful country and what we see in its energy industry, and I really, really appreciate it.
Yes, so when you was talking about it, to improve or to to be evaluated, sorry, the woman, and then maybe in the future will be presented officially, because we are planning to launch a woman in local woman in local content and procurement here in Mozambique. We have a platform.
Count me in. The Energy Chamber would support that. Please make sure once you launch that, you reach out to my team. We would give you a lot of support. We have a very serious supplier base for women. We think it's really important that when women come together from different sectors and get in the energy sector, those that have been successful support other women, grow within this sector, and really drive this sector forward. When we do that, believe you me, we are going to be very, very successful. And this is something that we take very seriously here at the Chamber. It is it's something that is personally, as the chair of the Chamber, is very close to my heart when it comes to empowering women. And I don't want us to back down on that anytime. So please count the Chamber in as your friend in this journey. We will work with you, we will support you, and we'll get industry to back you, because this is the most important issue as Africans. How we empower women to have their rightful place in the business community and grow that, whether be it through STEM or corporate advancement, we have to do that. And this is not something that we have to play games with anymore. And we must put that front and center of everything we do.
Exactly. Angie, thank you once again. And then it is a insightful conversation. You know that out of this local Procure podcast, because this is our first local Procure podcast, not episode, but the platform local Procure podcast, the podcast that we discuss insight related and local content and procurement here in Mozambique is the first one. And then we are so grateful to have you here, to have your insights for our Mozambican people. And then thank you for your time. I know that we'll talk again because we are so many projects that we'll discuss, not in other forum, not here exactly in the local content. Before we go, I would like to know from NG if there is any consideration that you would like to raise. Angie, are you there?
No, I think that's it for me today. And for me, it's just a big thank you for me. And I'm looking forward to actually, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said, for me, a big thank you from me. I am looking forward to actually meeting with you again in Mozambique and having a longer conversation on local content, women in energy, natural gas, and also Mozambique, and really ensuring that we all push Mozambique up and hope for something better for that country because it's a country that we love, all of us as Africans, and want to see this country and its people very successful.
Okay, thank you once again. And then at home, for the people that are watching us at home, I would like to say thank you a lot. And then if you enjoyed our episode today, please subscribe. Keep follow us, share it, and then visit our website www.groupopaco.co.mz or www.womaninlocalprecure.org, and then we will see you in the next episode. Thank you a lot, and thank you a lot once again, Angie. See you.
Much.
See you next
Thank you.
time.
It's an honor.
Thank you. Bye bye.